29, 18, 99, 42. Broadcast 2025-2. The Magic Vending Machine, Part 2.
Good evening, everyone. This is the narrator, broadcasting live from Sanctum Zero, Society of Virtuous Pagans. Recently, we began broadcasting our exposé of the seized SCP-261 dossier, entitled The Magic Vending Machine. Today, we continue with that broadcast. Before I begin, if I can have just a fraction of your time, I ask that you please consider liking and subscribing to this program. It doesn't cost any money, and it's a huge help in making sure that more listeners are able to enjoy our programming. Thank you. Without further ado, we continue. SCP-261, The Magic Vending Machine. SCP Internal Test Logs, Part 2. Number 36. 300 yen was tendered. The machine was powered. Description: a styrofoam bowl with a paper lid, labeled Instant Morioka-style Ramen. Just add hot water. Instructions, written in Japanese, indicate to add hot water and let stand for 3 minutes. Then stir well. Contents of bowl appear to be instant noodles, as well as several small capsules of unknown make, and a dusting of white, sugar-like crystals. Upon adding hot water, item grew warm for approximately 3 minutes, then immediately chilled to approximately 5 degrees Celsius. Upon peeling back the cover, noodles were found to be cooked and floating in a cold beef broth. Capsules were missing and replaced with a slice of fresh watermelon, 6 slices thinly sliced roast beef, 6 pieces of ponytail radish kimchi, and half a hard-boiled egg. The contents were edible. Advertisements on packaging encouraged users to try our other flavors, including traditional Korean and kimchi mixed. Number 37. 1,500 yen was tendered. Machine was powered. Description: unknown. A sealed paper sleeve of indeterminate chemical makeup and unknown language. Stylized image of what appears to be a 6-legged blue tortoise. Packaging open to reveal a single large piece of dark dried meat. Taste was noted as sweet and spicy with an unusual texture. Approximately 6 hours after consumption, subject reported itching in internal organs and heavy flatulence. Isolated to quarantine, where what appeared to be a violent allergic reaction caused the prolapse of 2/3 of his digestive tract from either end of his body. Subject died after 5 hours. Number 38. 750 yen was tendered. The machine was powered. Description: an aluminium bottle with screw top. Colorful graphic on the sides indicating flying insects contained within. Testing moved to isolation chamber. Subject opened the bottle and was swarmed by highly aggressive insects colored in red, blue, green, and purple. The subject consumed a number of the insects, attempting to sting him on his arms and torso. Flavors primarily sour and bitter fruits of uncertain identity. Described as similar to Pez, but not as sweet. The insects died approximately 9 minutes later, and they were collected. Agreement in flavor noted throughout all test participants willing to consume insects. The initial subject indicated lesions covering exposed skin, oozing brightly colored fluid with similar flavor. No further side effects noted, and the lesions appeared to heal normally. Number 38. Money entered, 1,500 yen. Machine was powered. Description: steel canister with pressure gauge on top and a release valve. Label shows brightly colored trisymmetrical life forms inhaling psychedelically patterned fumes. The subject unscrewed the release valve, noting strong smell of bitter almonds before asphyxiating. The contents were revealed to be pressurized hydrogen cyanide gas. Testing has been halted. Well, thank goodness all SCP test subjects are voluntary, right? Moving on. Number 40. Money entered, 1,000 yen. SCP-261 was powered. Description: rat on a stick. A fried rat skewered on a thin wooden spike. Southern fried. Number 41. Money entered, 250 yen. 261 was powered. Description: apple explosion. Object originally appeared to be a normal bag of apples, though in various colors not found in nature, such as purple, orange, and white. However, any physical trauma towards an apple results in it violently exploding and completely saturating the surrounding area in a thick, edible paste. Paste differed in taste depending upon the color of the apple, though all were strictly fruit flavors. Number 42. 500 yen were tendered. Machine was powered. Description: candy bullets. A CZ-75B 9mm pistol in a partially transparent package. The package was stylized with several graphics depicting smiling persons being shot, labeled in English in a stereotypical New Yorker slang. The rounds in the magazine were found to be made of a substance similar to rock candy, though completely functional as normal ammunition. The item was fired at the research subject's foot. Beside the pain and trauma normally included in bullet wounds, the subject also noted a heavy taste and scent of peppermint, which persisted for several hours. The munition dissolved in the subject's bloodstream, negating the need to remove it surgically. The pistol itself was found to also be completely edible, though much too difficult to chew. Tasted of tutti frutti. Number 43. 400 yen were tendered. The machine was powered. Description: dimensional donuts. A brightly colored box of donuts, labeling in Spanish. The donuts possess a small interdimensional anomaly, located in the hole of the donut, which is destroyed once the ring of the donut is broken. When held sideways, small objects fall out of the hole. The objects varied depending upon the person, donut, and time of day. Items noted included small candies, slices of fruit, jigsaw pieces, various forms of ammunition, blood, gasoline, various insects of unknown species, and human fingers. Note: the following test logs from March 9, 2009 were impromptu testing on an unpowered SCP-261, prompted by power loss in the wing that the SCP-261 is kept in during lunchtime. Results are listed as usual. Number 44. 500 yen were tendered. 261 was unpowered. Description: Blastola Cola. Blue and orange can with advertisement on the side for Captain Comic 12 pre-release giveaway. No such game is known to exist. Soda tasted of cola sweetened with cane sugar. After drinking, the subject was seen to belch a puff of what has been described as cold fire. The subject was uninjured. A workplace safety poster that was struck with the cloud was briefly covered in a thin layer of frost. Number 45. Money entered, 500 yen. SCP-261 was unpowered. Description: pile o' slugs. A produce box, typical of the sort used to pack strawberries, full of live garden slugs. Label on the lid was handwritten in English. While not consumed, later testing revealed that the slugs contained large amounts of vitamin C, E, and most of the B complex, except riboflavin. Also contained large amounts of arsenic. Before I move on to number 46, a note for the listener and members of the society who might be reading this transcript. Unfortunately, the numbering system in this log becomes rather haphazard from this point. I will do my best to keep to a reasonable sequence. However, I want to point out that there are literally hundreds of entries in this log. So if I repeat the same number more than once, I apologize profusely beforehand. Anyhow, let us continue. Number 46. 500 yen were entered. The machine was unpowered. Description: unknown name. An aluminium box containing a brick of gelatinous green material. When opened, the material began to scream. Item was not consumed. When tested later, the material had shriveled into a tiny green flake suspended in water and was capable of emitting a 10 decibel whispering noise. All attempts to identify the nature of the material failed, and the flake reportedly curled in on itself and dissolved shortly after testing began. No, SM-334, I will not, quote-unquote, insert my joke about infant gelatinous cube here. Moving on. Number 47 begins a new series of entries. Number 47. Money entered, 200 yen. The machine was powered. Description: bright yellow, elongated package made of cellophane, resembling a banana peel. Language of the label is identified as a combination of Welsh and Spanish, and when translated reads as, banana easier to open, making your banana opening easy. The package contained a bright yellow food item resembling an unpeeled banana except in color. Chemical testing found higher amounts of fructose and other processed sweeteners, along with small amounts of. Upon removal of from the object, a Class D personnel sampled the object and noted that it was very sweet. Number 48. 500 yen were tendered. SCP-261 was powered. Description: a fried fish patty with mustard filling, similar to a Hot Pocket in packaging and preparation. The package bore the likeness of Muppet character the Swedish Chef, and with the exception of the instructions and nutritional information in English, the remainder of the package is in unintelligible faux Swedish with an abundance of umlauts and accent marks. Item is described as extremely salty. At this point in the experiment, Dr. unplugged SCP-261 and asked for the change to be noted. Number 48. 500 yen were tendered. The machine was unpowered. Description: most horrendously painful hangover ever candy shots. Japanese packaging bearing the logo of the band Offspring and tiny, super deformed likenesses of the band smashing a generic salaryman's head with jackhammers. The candy appeared to be gummy shot glasses full of various solid color gummy. The taste varied from candy to candy, but was generally extremely sweet. The candy was examined and shown to have no alcoholic content, despite slight flavor that insinuated otherwise. The ingredient list on the back listed only hatred and vitriol in English. No other ingredients listed anywhere on package in any language, although a note on the underside of the package states, in Japanese, that the candy may aggravate dairy allergies. Number 50. 1,000 yen were tendered. SCP-261 was unpowered. Description: a small cylinder covered in cross-hatching lines of varying configuration. It appears to be a form of writing. Bright purple and green wrapping bears the drawing of a vaguely humanoid yellow figure with what appears to be two mouths. Removing the cap produced a sudden gush of gray-violet foam. The subject dropped the tube and ran to the chemical wash, stating that it was burning his hands. The foam was found to be acidic and contained significant amounts of capsaicin. The latter was more responsible for the burning sensation than the former. When analyzed, the foam was shown to contain massive amounts of riboflavin and vitamin B6, as well as trace amounts of methyl arsenic compounds. Unfortunately, the sample was lost when the foam dissolved after several hours. Number 51. Money, 200 yen. SCP, powered. Description: small, airtight blue plastic bag, very cold to the touch and labeled in an unknown language. The contents appeared to be several small, shriveled gray spheres, half a centimeter in diameter, apparently freeze-dried. When heated in water, they expanded to 2 centimeters in diameter. Spheres appeared to be the eyeballs of an unknown animal, deep blue throughout with hourglass-shaped pupils and thick purple vessels. The outside was slick and tasteless, but when bitten, a large amount of thick purple jelly tasting of watered-down grape juice burst out. The jelly causes extremely vivid hallucinations several minutes after being consumed. Number 52. 50 yen tendered. SCP-261 was powered. Description: a small cardboard can of Eat Me's, with the rest of the package labeled in French and describing the foodstuff as irresistibly good and undeniably tasty. The can contained 5 small, 3-legged crab-like creatures with tiny claws and large, dewy eyes. When released, they leapt up and down ecstatically, clicking their claws and repeatedly screaming, "Eat me!" in shrill, high-pitched voices. When the subject delayed and then refused to eat them, the eat-me's attempted to force their way into the subject's mouth. The creatures made joyous, shrieking sounds when being chewed and wee sounds when being swallowed. Number 53. Money entered, 100 yen. SCP-261 was unpowered. Item description: food. An 18-ounce steel can with a pull tab. The label was all white with the word food written in large black letters. No other information, nutrition, ingredients, weight, etc. is listed. When open, the can was found to contain a thick, gray, odorless paste. Subjects described the paste as devoid of any taste, and left the subjects appearing emotionless and slow-witted. Chemical analysis has found the paste to be low in fat and LDL cholesterol, as well as containing all the necessary vitamins and minerals, including several as of yet unidentified chemicals. Number 54. Money entered, 100 yen. SCP-261 was unpowered. Description: drink. A 12-ounce aluminum drink can. The label is similar to the food can, all white with nothing but the word drink in black letters. The liquid inside was colorless, odorless, and has a viscosity lower than water. Subjects who ingested drink became more open to suggestion, with subservience increasing as a direct function of the amount of drink consumed. Research into the long-term effects of the drink is being investigated. Number 55. Money entered, 300 yen. 261 was powered. Description: beef! Aluminum can similar to a soup can. In formatting, the package appeared similar to a normal can, but all text was the word beef in all caps with an exclamation point. The can contained pinkish meat, which was revealed to be uncooked beef. No abnormalities were detected. Number 56. Money entered, 300 yen. Machine was powered. Description: mint fish. A plain paper envelope, dual packaging in Russian and Navajo. The package contained unidentifiable light green powder. When added to cold water, the powder immediately formed into the shape of a small goldfish, same color as the powder. This wriggled in the water and proved difficult to catch, similar to a living fish. The creature stopped moving only when removed from the water and terminated by a guard. Described as difficult to chew and ultimately unpleasant. Number 57. 300 yen were tendered. SCP-261 was powered. Description: taste me. A transparent plastic box containing a single slice of white cake. No ingredients or information other than the title were listed. The item was tasted by a Class D personnel who, after consuming the product, immediately went into convulsions, and shortly thereafter collapsed and died. Autopsy showed that the subject had become 7 inches taller and grown in mass by 13.6%, and that the death and seizures were due to expansion of the brain. Analysis of the cake showed large amounts of human growth hormone, as well as several unidentified chemicals. Number 57. The following entries were all conducted during research by Dr. King. Money entered, 1 yen. 261 was powered. Description: a single seed. Test revealed it as an apple. Money entered, 2 yen. SCP-261 was powered. Item description: 2 seeds, also apple. Money entered, 3 yen. SCP-261 was powered. Item description: 3 seeds, apple again. 1,000 yen. SCP-261 was powered. Item description: 1,000 apple seeds. Similar tests were undertaken for the remainder of the day, resulting in apple seeds every time. Several complaints were issued about Dr. King, claiming to the effect that he had, quote-unquote, ruined the machine. Subject was left alone for the rest of the night, and approached again in the morning by another researcher. Number 58. Money entered, 300 yen. SCP-261 was powered. Item description: Lady Packs. Several small snack cakes wrapped in brown paper, labeled in slightly out-of-date Japanese, with an unusual amount of English loanwords. The cake was chocolate with somewhat berry-flavored filling. Consumption by female subject resulted in immediate commencing of that subject's menstrual cycle, despite the fact that it was not due for another week. Number 59. Money entered, 1,000 yen. SCP-261 was powered. Description: Pringles. Item resembles in almost every way a standard tube of Pringles, sour cream and onion flavor. The only difference in appearance is that the mascot on the box has red skin and takes on a vaguely demonic look. The item was given to a Class D subject. Once the lid of the Pringles is unsealed or popped, the subject was literally unable to prevent herself from eating the chips continuously. Moreover, the tube appears to be bottomless in nature, as the subject has been eating for several days at time of writing and shows no sign of slowing down. No difference between the chips and normal Pringles was found. This is the second subject to be tested. The first one continued eating after termination, and this tube had to be forcibly removed from her grasp. Number 60. Noted as having been performed by Dr. King. Money entered, 300 yen. SCP-261 was powered. Description: 300 apple seeds. The same product results whenever Dr. King, or an individual who has been asked to do the test for Dr. King, activates the machine. It is as yet unclear why this might be, or whether it may be evidence of sentience on the part of the machine. Number 61. Money entered, 500 yen. SCP-261 powered. Description: Extreme chips. Yellow bag with no labeling or nutrition facts, save for a gigantic red X on the front. Open cautiously to find nothing more than standard potato chips. Fed chips to D-Class 24045-06, whose voice immediately grew deeper and requested this agent join him in extreme sport activities such as surfboarding, mountain climbing, and bungee jumping. Request was denied. Item number 62. 50 yen were tendered. SCP-261 was powered. Description: Maxwell House Artificial Coffee Drink. A 355 milliliter navy blue can with the Maxwell House logo prominently displayed on the upper half. The lower half shows a steaming cup of coffee and coffee beans. Ingredients are listed as water, artificial flavor, and sucrose. 10 calories. Item was bitter and noted to be inferior in taste to instant coffee. At the time of entry, this product was not produced by Maxwell House. Number 63. Money entered, 1,500 yen. SCP-261 was powered. Description: A red mushroom with blue spots, resembling no other species of fungus. When fed to D-204-46-19, he claimed to be totally tripping balls, and then instructed researchers to be quiet, my show is on. For a duration of 1 hour, he was no longer reacting to any kind of sensory input, alternately laughing and crying without correlation to external stimuli. When subject awoke, he stated that he did not exactly recall what he had seen, but noted that it appeared to be a sitcom. Number 64. Money entered, 100,000 yen. SCP-261 was unpowered. Description: Several lines here of data have been expunged, followed by Item has been detained and is being tested for sentience. Subject detained for 7 days for contamination testing. Both tests turn up negative. Subject released from detainment along with data expunged. Item described as light, but with a burst of flavor. Subject expressed desires for more, and depression when request was denied. Note: Placing more than 5,000 yen in the machine requires formal approval for an experiment test. Number 65. 100 yen were tendered. 261 was powered. Description: A lavishly illustrated menu for Big Bub's House of Subs. Further examination revealed that the photographs of the various menu items were flavored like the items they represented. Nutritional content was typical from moderate quality restaurant fare. Item was dry but not filling. Number 66. Money entered 250 yen. 261 was powered. Description: a blue and yellow 500 milliliter metal can with a screw-on cap labeled Dr. Belcher's Magical Flashing Bug Juice. Can contains a carbonated fluorescent green liquid which emits occasional flashes of bright indigo light. Testing reveals no radioactivity or electromagnetic emissions outside the indigo band. No nutrition information printed on the can. Tastes strongly of tangelos. There was a heavy diuretic effect that lasted for several days. 67. 1,000 yen were tendered. SCP-261 was powered. Description: Agent Orange Sherbet. A small, single-serving ice cream container, printed in obscure working-class French, with a cartoon secret agent on it, complete with a trench coat, fedora, and black sunglasses, giving a thumbs up and saying, "Good enough to die twice for." Given to D-2348 for testing. Subject took a bite and claimed, "Tastes like really rich orange sorbet with a vanilla cream hint to it, like eating a creamsicle." Subject later complained of minor back pain, but reported that he was fine the next day. Number 68. Money entered 1,500 yen. SCP-261 was powered. Description: Mr. Q's cumbersome soda bottle. A small plastic bottle, clear with a minty greenish tint, with an odd stopper in the neck of the bottle. When tilted normally to drink, the cola hits the stopper and won't flow. Through an hour of testing, the stopper is discovered to work only when the bottle is tilted at a right angle, whilst being rotated from the bottom and shaken slightly. The soda was described as refreshing and abnormally tasty. Number 69. 10 yen were tendered. 261 was powered. Description: a 12-ounce beverage can of American Air, emblazoned with an American flag that circles the can, notably displaying 48 stars instead of 50. A small caption on the back of the can reads as follows: "A real patriot knows not to breathe the same air as communists. A real patriot remembers. Let your love of freedom breathe freely with American Air, TM." The can contains somewhat stale, but otherwise normal air. Number 70. 100 yen were tendered. 261 was powered. Description: a size 64 Trilby-style fedora composed of beef jerky. The object was flattened inside small cardboard boxes with nutrition facts and a label reading "Meat Hat, Teriyaki Fedora," and the catchphrase, "You can have your hat and eat it too." Consumed without incident. Taste described as tough, but enjoyable. Society Addendum from SM-977. I told them when I was working for them. I'll tell the rest of you now. A trilby is not a fedora. Number 71. 500 yen were tendered. 261 was powered. Description: an LP music album composed entirely of hard green sugar and an airtight green plastic wrap. Packaging in Albanian with a picture of a cellist and a pianist playing a duet. Playing the album resulted in an unrecognized piano and string movement, with the LP uncoiling itself as the needle passed. Surprisingly, this did not seem to interfere with the balance of the LP or the phonograph machine in any way. A recording of the music is available on request. The LP was consumed by those attending the presentation. Reportedly tastes like lime-flavored hard candy. Number 72. 1,000 yen were tendered. 261 was powered. Description: an olive green plastic bag of dried bay leaves, packaging in ancient Greek Delphic dialect, with the phrase "Pythia's Choice, brand bay leaves." 3 leaves were fed to subject D3968. Subject reported loss of feeling in his limbs, displayed unusual vocal patterns, and seemed to be entering a trance-like state. Upon consuming 2 more leaves, the subject collapsed and went into convulsions, screaming apparent gibberish interspersed with ancient Greek of the same dialect displayed on the package. The subject continued to convulse for 3 minutes and 24 seconds, then became limp and unresponsive. Subject died 2 days afterward with no signs of recovery. Analysis of leaves has shown an extremely high concentration of ethylene, a chemical compound known to cause the observed effects. How the subject spoke Delphic Greek is as yet unknown. The translation of the subject's outburst is largely nonsensical and is available on file by request. I wonder if it had anything to do with wooden walls or empires being ruined. Number 73. Money entered was 4 mon. Mon are coins circa mid-15th century Japan. SCP-261 was powered. Description: a small red velvet pouch with intricate golden embroidery depicting various Hyoji fans. Bound with golden string. Opening the pouch revealed the contents to be little more than dust. Analysis of that dust revealed it to consist of desiccated rice, red beans, shrimp, and soybeans, originating from approximately the same era as the currency used. Item number 74. Money entered 300 yen. 261 was powered. Description: a cylinder labeled Aunt Annie's Fruity Fibers Blue Raspberry Beret. The packaging text was written in English, French, and Hawaiian. Packaging encourages customers to try other available flavors, including grape gloves, mint mittens, and cherry cowl. Contents were 1 skein of sweet-smelling blue yarn, a pair of knitting needles, and a sheet of paper containing instructions for knitting a simple hat. Sampling the end of the yarn proved it to be edible, though described as chewy and a little dry, with a raspberry flavor. The presiding researcher was able to knit the hat described in the pattern, and reported that the yarn behaved similarly to a wool blend. Number 75. 1 counterfeit 500 yen coin. 261 was powered. Description: after a delay of approximately 3 seconds, an unmarked opaque white cellophane package was dispensed. The package contained candies similar to gummy bears, but shaped like human hands with extended middle fingers. This item was interpreted as a threat, and it was not consumed. Testing revealed candy contained lethal amounts of potassium cyanide. Log continued. On October 10th, 2009, a sequential experiment with an unpowered SCP-261 was run, attempting to discern just how quickly the machine would start to dispense bizarre objects. All vended items were tested via D-Class personnel for safety reasons. Number 76. 500 yen were entered. SCP-261 was unpowered. Description: a soft drink can labeled Cokepsi Zero, with a color scheme that appears to be a combination of the Coke and Pepsi zero-calorie product labels. D-Class personnel reported it to taste like a mix of Coke and Pepsi, and a definite taste of aspartame. Ingredients on the list appear to be a mix of Coke and Pepsi ingredients. No particular effects were noted. Number 77. 500 yen. Unpowered. A larger than normal can, the label declaring it to be a normal variety of canned corn that can be found in grocery stores. Upon opening, the can was revealed to contain hot melted butter and 2 stunted corn cobs. The can showed no signs of being warm to the touch from the outside. The item was consumed without incident. The butter cooled off normally. Later reports of stomach and bowel pain from D-Class personnel prompted termination and autopsy, revealing the presence of popped corn kernels within his gastrointestinal tract. Number 78. 500 yen. 261 was unpowered. An unlabeled object that resembles a Mark II pineapple fragmentation hand grenade. Testing area evacuated as a precaution. D-Class personnel sent in to retrieve the item under surveillance, expressing concern. The object appeared to be safe. The object was moved to a blast chamber. D-Class personnel were ordered to remove the pin, throw, and evacuate, and they complied reluctantly. The object exploded in the corner of the blast chamber in a puff of sugar and several high-velocity fragments. The blast chamber was coated in varying amounts of granulated sugar. Metal fragments were observed in the walls. Personnel who subsequently entered the blast chamber noted that they perceived a taste of sugar. No harmful effects were noted. Number 79. 500 yen were entered. SCP-261 was unpowered. Description: a 6-inch-long figurine of SCP-682, which upon being removed from the vending machine became animate and sang barbershop music, dancing with a cane and boater hat. The source of the cane and hat remains unidentified. Backup singers were heard from an unidentified source. Nearby security personnel opened fire on the figurine. Bullets did not harm the object and were absorbed into it. After approximately 2 minutes, the figurine concluded the performance, bowed, and became inanimate, with cane and hat demanifesting. The item was not consumed, but tests revealed it to be made of caramel. Further chemical analysis revealed that the caramel was contaminated with large amounts of arsenic and ricin poison. It also contained intact, expanded 9mm JHP rounds, having apparently healed the wounds, but not removed the bullets. The item was disposed of. Well, that ends the 10th October 2009 FAST test log, and I believe this would be a good place for us to stop for the moment. Next time we come back to this log, we'll be delving into Part 3. As I said, there are several entries left to come, and if you're interested in hearing them, we will do our best to broadcast them to you. Until then, as always, we thank you for your patronage, your support, and your patient ears. If you would like to continue to support the Society of Virtuous Pagans and the good work that it does, we once again request that you consider liking, subscribing, and maybe dropping a comment. Are you in possession of interesting information that might be relevant to the Society? Do you have a personal experience involving the anomalous of paranormal that you would like us to cover as part of our ongoing research program? Do you have questions? Well, we might have answers for you. You can contact us now at societyofvirtuouspagans@gmail.com. That is societyofvirtuouspagans@gmail.com. You can also find us most of the places you get your favorite podcasts. Again, thanks very much for the support from all of us here. Well, we'll see you again soon.
51, 39, 84. Broadcast 2025-1 ends.
Tonight's broadcast was brought to you, as always, by the Society of Virtuous Pagans. Our players tonight included August Brotherton and Guinevere McGregor. The content was taken from the SCP Wikia under the Creative Commons license. This particular item was authored by a number of individuals, over a dozen and counting, some of whom are members of the Society podcast crew. Our logo was created by Mazface. The Helios Radio was created by Kieran Byrne. Our editing, as always, was done by Creative Minds Audio. All content in this broadcast and all associated media have been treated with the Nagoya mimetic. Have faith. We know.